It's the Daily Dog.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today. On today's episode, y'all, we are going back to music by Dire Straits. I believe it was a month or two ago that we first did Sultans of Swing, and that did very well on the channel, and I wanted to get back to some music from this band, especially when I figured out that not one, not two, but three people on our Discord have officially submitted this song to be included on the channel, and I can't say no to Jules, Pete, and Dan. So today we're doing Telegraph Road by Dire Straits, and I am glad that you are here. So the read-in for this song today has been illuminative for me. There's a lot going on in the context and the story behind this song that I had no idea about. I do believe that I have heard this before, but it's relatively unfamiliar, and if I have heard it, it's been a long, long time. So much of what I'm going to hear today is going to be with fresh ears. From Love Over Gold, Telegraph Road is their fourth studio album released in 1982. The album was and is a commercial success. It reached #1 on the album charts in 6 different countries, and it was certified gold in the US, platinum in France and Germany, and double platinum in Canada and Britain. So Telegraph Road is the lead track. It's the first track and the longest song on the album, and some 40 years later, this song remains the album's centerpiece. So, like I said, y'all, the read-in was quite amazing. The internet remains an amazing source of information. So I found a page for a Dire Straits mailing list that was last updated in 1994. And there is a rough transcript of an interview with Mark Knopfler on a radio call-in show that was broadcast on May 10th, 1993, and the occasion the occasion of that interview was the band releasing a live album called On the Night. And this is the way that the transcript goes. A caller named Chuck asks, he says, "Look, as you heard, I am from Michigan, and I was just wondering where you got the idea for the song Telegraph Road, because in Pontiac, Michigan, going up to the Silverdome, US 24 is called Telegraph Road, and I was just wondering if you came up with that while you were on tour." And Mark responds, and he says, "Yes, that is exactly what happened. In fact, we were driving down that exact road. I was reading a book at the time called The Growth of the Soil by Knud Hamsun from Norway, and I just put the two together. I was driving down this Telegraph Road, and that you're talking about, and I think it is the exact same road, and it just went on forever, and it's like what they call linear development. And I just started to think, I wondered how that road must have been when it started, and what it must have first been like, and then really that's how it all came about. I just put that book together and the place where I was, and I was actually sitting in the front row of the tour bus at the time. So here we have Mark Knopfler on tour going down the road, and he's reading this novel, and he's like, the concepts that are in this novel, I can write on that and have it take place on the road itself. The novel, the Growth of the Soil, was published in 1917, and it won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1920. I have not read this book, and actually I didn't know about it until I read in today. But from what I read in, the book lifts up this approach to living a simple, back to nature sort of life, where our ultimate fulfillment is in the soil that we cultivate, rather than in the industrialization and all-out quest for monetary wealth and modern innovations. And then Mark Knopfler spins this tale based on this point of view in the novel, using the road itself as a location of the events over a long period of time. makes me very interested to hear it with fresh ears. So we've got Mark Knopfler on vocals and guitars. He is also the songwriter. John Ilsley is on the bass. Pick Withers is on the drums. Alan Clark is on keyboards. And Hal Lindis is also on guitars. And I was struggling with which version to use. Should I use the original studio recording or a live recording? And actually everybody that submitted this submitted the same live recording from the Alchemy tour in 1983. It's shorter than the version that is on the studio recording by about a minute and a half, but based on popular demand, this is the one that we're going to listen to, so let's do it, y'all. Telegraph Road, live from 1983 by Dire Straits. Here we go. Crowd's going wild already. It's a long track. On the album, it's 14 minutes plus. In this version, I think it's a little over 12. That long through line. I think it's representing time, timelessness. Beautiful guitar. Look at the camera work there too, y'all. Not starting on a tonic chord. They're starting somewhere else, and I can't figure out if they're in the major key or the minor key. And they are in the minor key. There they land on D minor. Calm down, crowd. You're ahead of the beat. There they go. This doesn't set up as like a rock and roll epic.
And a long time ago, come a man
story song.
Walking 30 miles with his sack on his back. Then he put down his load where he thought it was the death. Made a home in the wilderness.
Made a home in the wilderness. Built a cabin and a winter store. Plowed up the ground by the cold lake shore. The other travelers came walking down the track and they never went further. So everybody stays because the road is the center for commerce, right? Churches, schools, lawyers, rules, trains, trucks, and the dirty old track. Really amazing lyric. You're using a major 4 chord with that D minor. Okay, we get more of the story. Mines, then came the ore. Telegraph Road got so deep and wide like a rolling river. So the road itself is experiencing time and the people that come into contact with it. It sees mines, ore comes from it, hard times, maybe the Depression, sees war. relative major. They're in F major. Back to relative minor, D minor. Lovely. There's that major major one for a split second. So they're slipping back and forth between major chords and minor chords.
Now you got 6 lanes of traffic, 3 lanes moving slow.
That's cool. While they're at a break, hang on a second. So the bridge that's listed here is going further on in the story, and my radio says it's going to freeze. People are driving home from the factories. There is now 6 lanes of traffic, and 3 of those lanes are moving slowly, and they slow the music down. It's like text painting. It's really, really interesting how they did that. This is acting more to me as like a folk-inspired story song instead of this kind of 13-14 minute rock epic. But I know we've got some great solos coming forth. This song is kind of everything balled up into one, isn't it? Really, really fantastic. We're going to keep rolling. Let's see what happens next. Keyboard player showing his guns. Right up the scale. Then it goes from dominant to tonic back in D. 5, 6. Whoa. Major key. They're going back and forth. Back in the minor key. Lovely instrumental section. And I want to stop it again for a second. Stop. Okay, so what I'm hearing in the music, especially in that instrumental break that we just heard, they have a phrase that cadences in the major key in F. And then they go through and do a similar progression, but it's slightly different, and then they end up cadencing in the minor key. And what I think they're doing musically is enhancing and providing musical commentary on the underlying story of the road itself and all that happens on it through time. And it's, I think, very easily slipping into a perspective of a major key and a perspective of a minor key. And it's not that one is happy and one is sad, but it's just how there are life experiences and just happenings, things that happen that can be uplifting and moving forward and helping society and a person. And there's also things along that road that the road notices and sees that can be destructive or hurtful or different. There's different contextual experiences in the exact same place over time. It's really kind of fun. Off we go. D minor.
Used to like to go to work, but I shut it all down. I got a right to go to work, no work here to be found yet. They say we're gonna have to pay what's owed.
Major key. They're in now.
They reap from the seed of soul. When all the birds upon the wires and upon the poles,
birds on the wires and the telegraph poles can all fly away. You can hear them singing out their telegraph code. The birds are observers as well. But it's easier for the birds to leave. There's that major 4 chord back to 1 in the minor key. And still the consistent tone up high there. Amazing, amazing song.
And I'd sooner forget, but I remember those nights. Yeah, life was just a bet on a race. Between the lights, you had your head on my shoulder and your hand in my hair.
The textural changes are wonderful too, right? It gives us all these different sounds that we can tie into. I don't want to see it again from all these signs saying, sorry, but we're closed.
Just saying sorry, but we're closed.
All the way down.
All the way. Down the Telegraph Road.
Down the road, and the bass line went descending all the way down, didn't it? That's kind of interesting. Major chord, minor chord on D. There's the major 4 chord, major 1, minor 1. Dichotomy, occupying the same space. Brilliant. That's all by the way, that's all of the lyrics that we have. So we've got a few minutes left, so let's just boogie. I don't know what they got. I'm with that guy. Something's about to happen. Major 1, minor 1. They're still doing the same progression. Still do. Cool. 1 chord, 3 chord, minor and relative major, then up to the major 4, the G, which goes to major D, and then turns back around to minor D as they do it again. I shouldn't have gotten my keyboard after this. Whenever I get extended solos like this, it makes me just want to jump in and play along. Same progression. So it's a D, da, 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 got the F, G, and the D. amazing performance. You are welcome. And that's it. That's it. Amazing. Amazing. Wow. You know, I have heard that, but it's been so long. I don't think that I ever knew any of the backstory behind the song. I think I just listened to it when it came on. So the backstory is so fascinating to this, y'all. It's a say that again. It's a chronological story, I think, of the road itself, or from the perspective of the road. I'm not sure. So this road is Highway 24. It runs north and south through southeastern Michigan, and it goes right through Detroit. And early on, it was a Native American trail. And then they put up telegraph wires for communication. Then there had to be an expansion of the road so they can maintain the telegraph itself. And then you get more people moving in. You get commerce, and then the automobile boom right in that Detroit area. And so, hey, we need a bigger road. So we widen it. We get, and then here, like he says in the, where was that? Then came the churches, then came the schools, then came the lawyers, and then came the rules, and then came the trains and the trucks with their loads, and the dirty old track was the Telegraph Road. It's the story of how society moves in over time and how this trail becomes a center of societal activity and commerce, and there are lives that are just improved by being close to the road and being caught up in it. And there's all sorts of stuff, even negative things that happen. So it's how this this road just endures over time through all of the crazy stuff that happens around it, especially in the 20th century, through war, through the Great Depression, rises and fall of the automobile industry that is in that area, and how this simple trail over time becomes a shared center of commerce and societal experience, and it brings opportunity and wealth with its widening lanes and its capacity for travel and all that. But it also has, it's a place where, in the lyrics, the factory workers sit in traffic, and they're worried about their futures, and then they're struggling to make ends meet and all of that. And then the road itself becomes this magical sort of through line for the story, as the road observes the highs and lows of evolving society over time along its path. And I think it's really fascinating, the story of this, how Mark was on that route. And he's like, Telegraph Road, that could be a great name for a song, or a hook at the end of a lyric. And then he uses the broad strokes of this novel, The Growth of the Soil, as inspiration for the story that takes place along that road. And just as an added benefit, the song's pretty damn good too. I mean, come on, they played it unbelievably. They've got some rises and falls, some changes in tempo. They're telling this story very convincingly, and I enjoyed the crap out of that, y'all. That was awesome. So, thank you to Jules, to Pete, to Dan, to all of the people who upvoted this in the community for sending this into me. It's been on the list for a while, and I am glad to have finally gotten to Telegraph Road by Dire Straits today. Thanks, y'all, for hanging out with me, and we will see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.